Kia ora no tātou katoa. Kia ora everyone, and good to be here. We just, as a Māori Ministerial team, very proud to put out this budget for our people, this targeted pūtea for our people. Never before have we got the type of money that we've announced today, well over $1 billion. In fact, it's up towards 1.4 with the infrastructure money. So you can see that our priorities have clearly been housing and health because our people have demanded it. We've had iwi leaders pushing us all the time. I saw a couple of them today. They're very pleased with the package, as well as that this housing package embraces everything we're doing in the different areas, whether it's in the city or out in the different lohe, where the pūtea is available for partnerships. So we couldn't be happier with the response. It's been a really good last 2 months as we've worked this through with our colleagues, and they've been very supportive of it, despite what some people might be saying in the media. So housing and health has really been the priority, and we've seen the results. So it's just been exceptional. We've also seen the support from urban Māori. You saw some of that today with John Tamahere and his team. There was some talk about whānau ora not being supported, but Peni Henare will shortly explain that whānau ora is part of our whole Māori health kaupapa, and generally we've got an acceptance from our people with regards to that. So I'm pleased with what we're hearing from our people on the ground. In the Māori broadcasting area, you will see that there's some pūtea allocated there, 42 million. I see that as a start in terms of the whole revamp and reshape of Māori broadcasting, which we're going to work on over the next 2 or 3 years, and the people have been very supportive in that area also. Māori education that Calvin Davis will talk about gets 150 million. We couldn't be happier with that, particularly with the cost pressures that our kaiako are undergoing. So all in all, as a ministerial team and as a Māori caucus, we're pleased that we've heard what our people have said and we've responded, and $1 billion has never ever been put in place by any previous government. So it's 1.1 and I think 1.4, 1.4.5 with the infrastructure pūtea. So we think we're on track. We couldn't be happier. We want to thank all our colleagues, not just Māori, or the team right across Labour, our Prime Minister. We see Andrew Little here, Megan Woods there. As you all know, we have a wonderful relationship, don't we, Megan? So great to see Megan here supporting us, and we're on track in terms of a strategy going forward. But in terms of the Māori Health Authority, it's been a huge kaupapa, and I'm really proud of the work that Peni Henare has done in that area with Andrew Little, and I'll just bring him on now just to explain some of the intricacies of that. Then after that, Calvin Davis will explain what's happening in terms of the Māori education area. No, can we just have a kōrero or we'll jump straight into questions? Do you want it? Okay, all right.
Minister, $1 billion budget for Māori, is this the full hangi and then some?
Well, we always hope there's then some, but it's not then some right now. But it might be next year or the year after. But, you know, this is we think it's a great start. We know that there's still a need out there, but, you know, you can't complain too much, and we've really been really pleased. I think all of us are pleased with the final result.
The milestone is this, because we've never really seen such a significant targeted approach when it comes to Māori.
I think it's a huge milestone. Minister Mahita might want to add something here because she's been around the longest, and she's seen no disrespect, but she is our star Foreign Affairs Minister, and you might want to add something there because she's been there when Labour and Māori and Labour didn't always get a lot. Minister Mahita.
Well, since I've been here the longest. Look, I think the Prime Minister made two seminal points in her budget speech. Firstly, that since we've become government, we should consider each budget as building on the foundation of the last. The second point was that while we are dealing with the issues right in front of us, we are securing the long-term aspirations of where we believe as a government we can steer towards, which is addressing the issues of inequality and poverty through core investments in infrastructure and in housing. For Māori, you've got to consider how we've built each year on the targeted contribution to the issues that are most pressing for us, understanding that we've continued to increase our aspirations within the broader context of the budget, and I think it is good for Māori.
In terms of the inequalities, obviously you had a previous arrangement under the last government. This is the fourth Labour budget under Grant Robertson, though. Is it almost frustrating that you've had to waste, for want of a better description, the last 3 years, given those massive inequalities, and not had the ability to put in that targeted funding earlier?
Look, the reality of an MMP environment means that we have to work with what the voters decide. So the previous government and the coalition confidence and supply arrangements were such that we had to negotiate our priorities alongside the formation of government and the priorities of our partners, and that is the reality of it.
And I don't know where you were last year, Joe, because we got 900 million last year. So, I think that this is a Māori ministerial team that has built up the pūtea year by year. So, we're on track.
Hi, it's Madison from New South. Why did whānau ora not get any funding this time around?
Oh, look, first and foremost, we'll say that we continue to support whānau ora. They did a fantastic job during the COVID period. In last year's budget, we had increased their particular budget for whānau ora significantly. If I recall correctly, we over doubled the budget in that announcement, and we made it clear then that that budget was for 2 years. And so while we continue to applaud the work that whānau ora continue to do, the two pressing issues in front of our whānau are clearly housing and health, and today's budget addresses that.
You did ask for more money and you didn't get it. What was the reasoning that you were given for that?
Oh, look, all of us asked for lots of money from Minister Robertson. Look, we'll continue to push the whānau ora kaupapa, and despite not getting any money this year, we're going to be up again when the year comes.
Appointed Minister?
No, I'm really proud of whānau ora, and I'll continue to be proud of them.
Minister Jackson.
Well, you'll see the type of investment we have in training right now. So whilst we have all the we have to remember that this is targeted specific pūtea. However, in the general fund, you'll see the funding that we're putting up in terms of small businesses, in terms of training, in terms of apprenticeships, and we're talking about thousands and thousands of Māori coming through there. So we've got huge and ample opportunity in terms of our young people going forward in terms of our economy.
E te tahua pūtea mo te mate uruta, engari kāore anō kua puta te whakatau mo ngā Māori businesses. How high?
Māori businesses are backing us. They can see the problems that we have. Look, I think we're all realists. They've known that Māori housing, as Minister Henare said, and Māori health had to be our priority. And they're generally pleased with what we're doing. But we are supporting Māori business. We've got $15 million for Māori tourism. We've got our procurement policy that was initiated by Minister Mahuta. There's a lot of support going into Māori business. So just because you see with this budget, the majority of pūtea is going to housing and health doesn't mean Māori business is not a big priority for us. We've got a Māori economic group and ministers who work with Minister Nash.
Many times in mai, ngā kua whakamarama kia mai, ngā pūtea kua taka ki ngā kaunihera.
Karekau he pūtea mō ngā kaunihera arohe, ko tā mātou nei aronga nui ki ngā tinihanga e pāna ki te wai. Me era āhuatanga koina te take I uru mai e tihi o ngā kōrero e pāna ki te Three Waters, ngā wai e toru. Tārea te wā kataia te kite te nuinga o a mātou nei tautoko mō tērā tu āhuatanga.
For Minister Henare on the Māori Health Authority funding, please. So we've got the establishment fund and then a Kickstarter fund, if you like, for program delivery. In terms of that overall big budget, how much can we expect and when can we expect to see the full budget for the Māori Health Authority?
Look, as we bring together the interim agencies and the health reform work continues, we'll get a clearer picture of exactly the budget needs with respect to standing up the Māori Health Authority. Part of the other particular pūtea that you talked about, the $124 million to some early commissioning outcomes, will be really key, because what I think that'll also serve to do is to grow and create more resilience with our Māori health providers in what is going to be a large shift in the health sector more broadly speaking. So certainly over the next 6 months, my expectation is you'll see the exact focus for that particular pūtea.
That overall Māori Health Authority budget, will that be in the hundreds of millions or billions?
Oh, look, the Prime Minister's been clear, and so too is Minister Little. This is a start. We know that we're going to need a lot more resource into the future to make sure we can turn those inequities around. Right now, I'm celebrating the fact that we've got a good pūtea to get this kaupapa started.
On the overall budget and what that might look like?
Oh no! Look, I'm not going to put words into the mouth of the interim agency before it's even started. But I am happy with today's announcement because I think it's the start of something quite special.
While you're up there, can I ask defence, not $1 for defence? I think in new spending. What's the reason for that? Is it not needed? Did they not come to you asking for anything?
No, look, we've worked closely with Defence. They're obviously Op Protect is one of the big focus points at the moment. There are a number of projects that are already well underway, and you'll be very familiar with them. The P8s, the C130Js, as well as the return of Te Mana at the end of the year, and the infrastructure that goes with that. What I made clear to the Defence Force was that we are looking to reset our priority principles to make sure that they're aligned with this government and the direction that we're going. You'll see in the very near few weeks an announcement on our policy priorities and principles that will shape the way we look towards a budget in the future for defence.
They've got all the money they need right now. They've got all the tools coming at them, kind of thing.
Well, they do for the projects that they currently have on the table. I will say this and preempt something for you. I'm really keen to see how we might grow our people capacity and our infrastructure here at home. I know a lot of the media make a point about measuring them by ships and guns. Actually, we have a large housing stock. We have large infrastructure in the Defence Force here in Aotearoa, as well as people, and I'd like to see us focus there.
In terms of whānau order, the South Island Whānau Order Commissioning Agency says they've seen a huge surge in the last couple of months of people coming to them for kai and heating emergency grants. So without a boost to the funding, how do you expect them to meet that demand?
Their funding was boosted last year in line with the demand off the back of the lockdown. We made it quite clear, and we worked with them on that amount of money that we established for them last year, and that's why we have what we have this year, which is we're focusing now on health and housing, because the announcement last year set them right for the 2 years ahead of them, and we'll continue to work with them to make sure that they get the resources they need as we go into the future.
The expectation was when they received that boost last year that there wouldn't be additional money this budget?
Oh, look, they've always got expectations, and I'm not responsible for their expectations. I made it clear last year that announcement was for 2 years. I even spoke to them before the budget was announced that they won't be getting any money, and I did that in trust and in good faith.
Can I ask you, there's $333 million set aside for the Scott Antarctic base. That's a big chunk of cheese. Why does the base need the money?
Look, the last significant redevelopment of Scott Base was 40 years ago in about the 1980s. Our presence in Antarctica secures peace and stability in the region, but also it contributes to our science and conservation aspirations. So this investment has been preceded by a thorough business case and also a level of consultation, which I might say is still being undertaken, and significantly the benefits of the investment in Scott Base will go back directly into Christchurch, which we want to ensure remains the natural gateway to Antarctica.
Can I also ask one quickly, Kelvin Davis?
Last question, please. Sorry, I'm just conscious we've got other ministers also.
There's an extra $6 million to house the Christchurch Mosques terrorist. Why do you need that money, and are you uncomfortable with that money being spent?
Well, I think it's necessary. He's probably our worst, most notorious offender, and we need to make sure that not only is he kept safe, but also other prisoners are kept safe, as well as the corrections officers who are doing a great job of making sure that he is safe. It's just the cost that it is for him. Beg your pardon?
Uncomfortable?
Oh, look, of course, everything about the man makes me uncomfortable, including the cost that it takes to house him.
What do you hope Māori voters will take away from Māori Minister's delivery today?
That we have delivered close to $1.5 billion for kaupapa Māori in education, in health, in housing, the issues that really mean the most to Māori. So we're very proud. as a team here on the stage, as well as the support from our extended Māori caucus, and also grateful to the support from our ministers as well, our other colleagues.
Love you, Kiritapu.